then we look at the clock, it's like, God, it's almost time to go to bed, you know. And then I'm still like, I'm on my bike and I'm still trying to put a truck order in, you know, I'm still trying to do this, I'm still got work stuff I'm doing and everything. So it'll be a lot going on sometimes. And it's like, they say it's 24 hours in a day. If you sleep 8 and you work 8, that's 16 out the way right there. So then you say you take an hour or two for your spouse, and that's including eating and everything. So now you're down to like 3 or 4 hours a day that you got to yourself.
That's good. What's another example? Why is it so hard for us to sit still and marinate?
I would say with me, at first I didn't know how because, like Brother Stephen has said, your mind is constantly going, and I just didn't know how to sit down, take that moment, and don't think about anything because your mind is constantly going. So with me, I had to catch up with my mind, if that makes sense. So now what I do, my favorite word, one of my favorite words, I sit and ponder. So somebody said, well, what are you doing? I'm doing absolutely nothing. And then they, because my husband would say, well, yeah, I see you ain't doing nothing, but that's I gotta sit still, and I just gotta sit there and think about nothing because we have to calm our mind down. It's constantly going, going, going. It's like engine out of gun if you don't take the batteries out. But even in that, you just got to take time to do that. So that's how I figure it out. You got to figure it out for yourself in order to spend that time with God because He's waiting on you.
Anybody else? Why is it so hard to sit still and marinate?
I think that is maybe what elder, I was about to get elder like too, but yeah, because most, sojourning, we just too busy doing other things. We get sail into more than what we're supposed to be in and not taking enough time out for God. Just in other words, just too busy into doing other things.
That's good. Anybody else want to share?
I find sometimes I say to myself, I had to, I just learned this and I brought it recently because when I worked so much and then I didn't have the time. And now that I do have the time, sometimes when you do have time, you still don't take time.
That's right. That's
So
right.
I made up my mind at least 1 or 2 days out of the week. Like Cheryl was saying, just don't do nothing. And sometimes it's hard, but it's something that you got to do because
That's right.
we say we love God, we want to grow, we want this and we want that. And but I found for me, and I need this myself, that I have to take this. Sometimes people be going, well, you're not going nowhere today, or you're not doing anything today. No, and I just dress down in my own house.
That's right.
I dress down, look like I want to look. I might not look like people want me to look, but I look like I want to look.
That's
I
right.
feel comfortable.
That's right.
And it's me and it's about me and God.
That's it.
Sometimes he said, don't turn no TV on. I don't turn nothing on. I don't answer nothing. And he just said, just sit
Mm-hmm.
sometimes. And it's something that we as a person, we got to come to the place and know that's for us.
Mm-hmm.
It's a private, personal time. And we got to do it.
That's it.
Because like I said, I work all the time. I work night shifts. I work day shifts. I work all kind of shifts. And I didn't have the time. And then at me, the more I thought I had, I didn't have it.
That's right.
And so now I just take 1 or 2 days and do nothing.
That's
Because I
good.
dress down at home. I'm looking like I look, but it's all right. And
I
and and
love it.
and, and I just don't go anywhere, don't do anything. Sometimes I don't do nothing. I don't dust, I don't do nothing. I just see it.
That's
And
it.
and just it's me it's about me and the Lord. Sometimes I just walk around my apartment and I'm communing
That's
with the
it.
Lord. And the way he want me to do. I can't speak for everybody else because it's not that may not be the way he wants to commune, with you. But that's the way I do it.
I love it.
And it works.
It do.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody marination looks different. Anybody else like to share?
For me, it's not having. Sometimes I didn't know how to say no.
Mm.
It's more so like if someone asks me, do some things throughout the day. It's always yes, sure. Throughout the week, yes, sure. And so I'm prioritizing other people's needs before my own and before God. And so it's just like over the
That's good. Anybody else want to share before I move on from this question? Good points, guys. I want to share mine. The reason it was hard for me to sit still and marinate was because of fear. I was scared of what God was going to ask me to do, which I already knew what He was going to ask me to do, and I was just like, God, I'm not ready for that. I don't even want to bask right now, so I'm gonna keep it moving, okay? Because I know you're gonna put it in me, and once you put it in me, I gotta do it. So for me, it was fear, and I was just like, you know what? I gotta stop running, because at some point, what I'm hindering might be hindering for somebody else. So that for me, it was fear. But I love all of those examples. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about your secret recipe to marinating. There's three things that you will need. You need good ingredients, you need total immersion, and you need time. So again, your secret recipe to marinate is good ingredients, total immersion, and time. And we're gonna break these three things down. So the first one we're gonna talk about is one, good ingredients. So when we cooking and we want to have a good marinade, we gotta have all the fresh stuff. I don't want to bring no nasty stuff in there because I ain't gonna eat it if it soak it up. I'm not a big person of vinegar, so I wouldn't put vinegar in my base because I don't want it. I think it's nasty. You might think it's good, but I want all the good ingredients that's good to me. Let me put it that way. That's good to me. So, to have a flavorful product, you must bring the freshest ingredients to create the marinade. We do not need to bring in the nasty things into our recipe. So, there are three important ingredients to make a marinade that I looked up. You need oil, you need acid, and you need spices. So, oil, acids, and spices. The first thing I compared oil to in the spiritual realm was the Bible. And the reason I compared it to the Bible because God enabling us to absorb his good freeing truths into our being. His love and his comfort soothes our souls. So oil, when you put your oil in there, it lathers everything. It soaks everything up. So when we read God's word, we should be soaking it up. Everything that he's telling us, it should oil us down on the inside. It should soothe our hearts. It should soothe our minds. It should soothe our souls. So the oil to me represented the Bible. Now the acid, I had a hard time for this one. I was like, God, what do the acid represent? Well, in real life, acid is like chemical reaction. And I thought about it. I said awareness is like a chemical reaction. And hear me out. When you're aware of something, you're like automatically recognizing it. That's how acid works. When it touches something, it's automatically working. That reaction is working. So when you're aware of something, your brain, you're aware. So we have to be aware. We have to evaluate. Like Lady K was saying in prayer earlier, we got to talk to our storms. We got to talk to our hardships. So when we're aware, we're evaluating our hardships and his perspective, and it helps us to absorb his key truths. So sometimes we got to go to God and be like, God, I'm placing this battle on you. I'm placing this hardship on you. Help me to fight through it. What are the steps I need to take? And then when you sit there, just let it sit there and let God help you work it out. Because sometimes we get ourselves in trouble when we're not aware. Sometimes we're not aware. When I get angry, I am not aware. And I got a couple of people in here that is my witness. When I get angry, my whole face look like I can kill somebody. And people be like, you good? And I be like, don't talk to me at this moment. Like they couldn't see my face in the first place. So that's something I got to become aware of. And I told God, I need to fix that. I said, because if I'm going to be your vessel and I'm going to marinate in you, I need to show your characteristics, whether I'm mad, whether I'm upset, whether I'm going through. God, he understands that, he sees that. But if we want to live like God, then we got to do everything that he has done. So that's one thing. That was good to me. I don't know if it was good to y'all, but it was good to me. All right, number 3, spices. Spices to me represents fruits of the spirit. And I said, that's a little razzle-dazzle. Whenever I cook, I put parsley on everything. And I'm like, oh, that's a little razzle-dazzle for me. I love doing that. So the spices to me represents the fruits of the spirit. We want to contain those. We want to marinate those. The love, joy, peace, perseverance. We want all those things to marinate within us. So that's what I thought about for the spiritual realm for spices. So, hint, hint, you might want to remember your 3 important ingredients to make a marinade. So the oil, that represents the Bible, the acid, that gives you the awareness, and the spices, that represents the fruits of the Spirit. So our second part to our secret recipe to marinate is total immersion. And I don't even know if I'm saying that word right. I have a hard time pronouncing that word. But total immersion. So what does the word emerge mean? What does that word mean? To push down, that's good. Anything else? What does that word mean? To go under. Good. So when we're being immersed, we need to be all in. When you cooking that steak and your chicken, you're not just putting it at the brim of the marinade. No, you sticking that thing in there. We even go as far as putting it in the plastic bag and shaking that thing up and letting it sit. So we got to go all in. We need to be all in. And we must remove all barriers of pride and unwillingness. We got to let go of our pride and unwillingness and allow God to take his turn around and around, exposing every part of our being to his transforming word. So, this is where we find our proper wisdom and understanding. That goes back to what Tamika was saying. And she said she went and just sat. She didn't have to worship. She didn't just sit. Sometimes God wants us to come and just sit and say, God, I'm here, I'm at your feet, and I'm listening. I'm listening. I need your understanding and I need your wisdom. Guide me. Sometimes we're just so quick that we think God has said something. He ain't even ready to throw us out there yet. So we have to sit. We have to emerge. We have to be all in. We have to be ready. So, good ingredients. That's the first thing. You got to be all in, total immersion. And then your third one there is time. And I think this is the most important one. We got to come with our time. So it takes time for a marinade to be complete. How long you let your marinade sit? For 5 minutes? Hours. Hours. Some people even let it sit overnight. They want to be real good and flavorful. So why do we rush our marinade with God? We don't want to be as flavorful as that steak and chicken. We don't want to be all soaked up and ready to burst with good flavor. So it's like we got to take time. We got to let God complete his job in us so he can infuse flavor into our tough and, our attitudes, into our impatience, into our, our ungratitude. So we have to be patient. We got to give it time. So while marinating in God's presence, we should allow time for him to complete his work. And I think that is very, very, very important. He knows what specific truths we need at this point in our lives. People don't know, but God knows. So that's why we sit in his presence. We marinate. He knows how to give you understanding so that you'll be willing to accept them. Like I told y'all earlier, it was because of fear. But once I started to learn, I'm still working on it, y'all. Ain't nobody perfect. We all still working. We all probably still need to be marinating. But I'm going to talk about Kyla. So, but when I said I was talking in fear, I was like, God, give me the strength to step out. Give me the strength to be bold. And I didn't ask for that to please anybody because I just want to please him. I was like, God, use me where you see fit. Because sometimes we get into this place where we feel like, oh, well, they didn't see me today, or they're not going to put me up there to do prayer today, or they're not going to let me do this. It's not about you. And I had to realize that the hard way. I'm speaking to self too. I had to realize that hard way. It's not about me. God said, give me time. He said, you give me time. I don't care about anybody else. He said, I want you to come in my presence. I want you to marinate. I want you to give me the time and the process to let you soak it all in, and then you can be ready. Then people can start using you. So in that time, sometimes you got to ask God the hard questions that you don't even want to hear. So take that time. So what are our 3 secret recipe ingredients? And then what are our 3 secret recipe ingredients? Our 3 big bold ones. And time. So I want to ask a question. Out of those 3 good ingredients, total immersion and time, which one you think is the most important? Time. So somebody explain to me why. Why is that one the most important? All y'all said it at one time. Who's going to be brave? Why is time the most important one? Okay. Mm-hmm. Adriana, you want to share something? That's it. That's good. That's good. And I also want to add to that with time, when you step up and God do use you, you don't feel like you out of place. And you don't feel like you're doing it out of flesh. When you ever feel like that, you need to sit down. You need to sit down. I'm being honest. You need to sit down because it's not of God. So that's why I say marinating is important. And people think, oh, I can just do this for 5 minutes. No, God needs you. He needs a need of all of us. So we all need to take that time to soak in something. We need to come out of flesh and get into our marinade. So we're going to have a battle discussion for just a second. Sauce versus marinade. Sauce versus marinade. TC, you got something to say? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to ignore you, Pastor. Go ahead. That's good too. Even that, just be careful. Make sure you're listening to God. In all of it, make sure you're listening to God. Because whenever you stop listening, it's no good. So, sauce versus marinade. So, we must be careful not to confuse sauce with marinade. So, let's have this discussion. What is the difference between sauce and marinade? What's the difference? Go ahead, cook. Okay. Mm. That's good. Anybody want to compete with that? I think that was good. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's good. Anybody want to add on? Those are really two good explanations. So the sad fact is that it's so very hard to stop saucing and to become a sponge for the marinade. And I'm gonna explain this. When you are a saucy person, sometimes it's all you got. So you go slapping it around, hoping to spread the aroma and flavor of Christ, but all you manage to provide is a surface coating because that's all you have. I don't want to be a surface coating person. I don't want to sprinkle Jesus here and there. I don't want to do, and then on the next week they see me, I don't even look like I have Jesus within me. That's a surface coating. That's us working in our flesh. That's what I call a saucy person. So I don't want to be like sauce. I really don't. I don't want to stop. I don't want to stop. I want to stop saucing others because it's messy. When you work with a sauce, you get it all over your shirt, it stains you, and that's what we do to other people. That's what we do to other people. If you think about it, we're messy. We stain their heart when we're a saucy person. I don't want to be a saucy person. I don't know about y'all, but Kyla don't want to be a saucy person. Have I been there? Most definitely. Most definitely been there. But there's ways to get out of that. So it's our nature to only to cover up the truth that underneath is the nasty taste of flesh. I'm gonna read that again. Its nature is only to cover up the truth that underneath is the nasty taste of flesh. And that's what a saucy person does. They cover up the nasty truth of flesh. So I got a key point here. And my key point I thought was good. So y'all don't gotta think it's good. I think it's good. So my key point is, listen carefully. If you must ask what I believe, and I must debate the issue with you because I haven't proven it to be true in the way I live, then I have failed in my duty to surrender to the marinade. So I'm going to read that one more time. If I must, or if you must ask what I believe, and I must debate the issue with you because I haven't proven it to be true in the way I live, then I have failed in my duty to surrender to the marinade. So I thought that was really good. I was like, oh, that's good, guy. That's good. So in other words, we got to practice what we preach. When we're in that marinade, we don't need to come out and have a smell of stench. We should be able to walk around and people be like, oh, what she got? I want that. We should be able to walk by people in the store and be like, that girl got a glow on her. What is that? That's your marinade. That's your marinade. I want to be that person to everybody that I walk into. I'm going to get there. I don't think I'm there yet. I'm the first to admit. But I want to be that person. That's what your marinade does. So I don't want to be a saucy person. I don't want to be sweet baby Ray's. I want to be sweet Jesus Ray. How about that? So I want to shine with his glory. So if you've ever been the victim of any recent saucing at my hand, I'm apologizing right now. I am truly sorry for the stain I left on your shirt and your heart. So that is my apology. So what we both need is to be thoroughly marinated so we can experience the change that comes from a long soak in the goodness of God. So my last point of the night. There we go. All right, my last point of the night is I do not want to impress people with the razzle-dazzle of my sauciness, but instead leave them with a sweet aroma of God from my marinade. So I'm going to read it one more time. I do not want to impress people with the razzle-dazzle of my sauciness, but instead leave them with the sweet aroma of God from my marinade. And I want that to be your goal on this week, to get rid of the sauciness and marinade instead, so people can get that sweet aroma and see that glow in you. So that is my points for tonight, and I hope you got something from it, but we are not done. I hope y'all had took some good notes. You ready, Adriana? All right, let's do it. All right, so got a little trivia for you. Y'all ready? Okay, so when you get a question right, you got to raise your hand. Raise it up high like you just don't care. Raise it up high. Each question is 10 points. We in church now. So I want you to be truthful now. Be honest about your points. There's going to be 2 top winners. I'm going to take 1 and 2 top winners. So we'll see how this goes. All right, first question. What does the word marinade mean? I saw Sister Shirley hand first. Good gracious, big words. Okay, big words. So marinate means to seep, rest, soaking in the elements, to leave, to reflect. Yes, I take it. 10 points, Elder. All right, y'all ready for question 2? Lady K already ready. All right, what are the 3 important ingredients to make a marinade and the spiritual meaning attached to them? Go ahead, Lady K.
That has good ingredients, total immersion, which means all in and also time. But the good ingredients equals oil, which is the Bible. Then you got your total immersion, meaning all in, which equates to acid, which equals awareness.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got your time, which equals to your spices, which also equals to fruits of the spirit.
That's good. She went an extra mile. All I wanted was the oil, the acid, and the spices. So good job, Lady K. That's good. 10 points for you. All right, our next question. Y'all don't let them beat y'all out now. Fill in the blank. If you must blank what I believe, and I must blank the issue with you because I haven't proven it to be true in the way I live, then I have failed in my duty to blank to the marinade. I think Lady K hand was up first.
If you must ask what I believe, and I must debate the issue with you because I haven't proven it to be true in the way I live, then I have failed in my duty to surrender to the marinade.
Beautiful, beautifully said. Come on, y'all. Lady K up here on fire. All right, let's see if we can get some different hands up on this one. All right, next question. What is the secret recipe to marinate? Elder Shirley. I'm about to disqualify y'all. Good job. Good ingredients, total immersion, and time. That is correct. All right, y'all. I'm gonna step to this side. Maybe it'll give y'all some power. Next question. Describe a saucy person. I don't even know who hand went up first because I was trusting in them over here. Which one was it? I don't know which one it was. Let's do it again. No, never mind. I think it was Lady K that time. Go ahead.
A saucy person is somebody that's it's like prepackaged when you talk about with the Sweet Baby Ray's. All of the stuff is already there. So you come with, the attitude that you talked about and, just kind of leaving a stain on somebody, leaving a stain on their heart and I'm not gonna say they're unapologetic, but they just when I think about sauce, you think about all of this.
Right, right. I got you. And I agree with all that. So a salty person is a surface coater, messy, leaves stains, packaged, not totally immersed. So good, good, good. We still got some questions, y'all. Come on, y'all. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. All right, next question. What is spiritual marination? Go ahead, Elder Shirley. Ooh, okay. In 2 words is good flavoring. Okay, I take that. So what it is having awareness, decluttering our minds and emotions, sitting still in his presence, meditating on his word, absorbing and soaking in his characteristics. So yes, good flavoring. I'll take it. All right, next question. This game seems unfair. All right, fill in the blank. We're about to tell the words. I do blank want to impress people with the razzle dazzle of my blank, but instead leave them with the sweet aroma of God from blank. Ooh, okay. Okay, okay. Okay, go ahead, Lady K.
I do not want to impress people with the razzle dazzle of my sauce, but instead leave them with the sweet aroma of God from marinating.
There you go. That is good. I do not want to impress people with the razzle dazzle of my sauciness, but instead leave them with the sweet aroma of God from my marinade. Good. All right, next question. I done lost my place. All right, define the word immersion. Good. There you somebody beautiful, beautiful. All right, next question. What was the scripture for tonight's teaching? Go ahead, Elder Shirley. Yes. I promise y'all she was not with me when I did this lesson. I promise. We is not cheating back there. All right, so next question, our final question. Fill in the blank. Ephesians 5, 1 through 2. Blank God, therefore, in everything you do, because you are his dear blank, live a life filled with blank, following the example of Christ. He loved us and offered himself as a blank for us, a pleasing aroma to God. Go, you got the show. Yes, yes, yes. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Imitate children, love, and sacrifice. Okay, Lady K and Elder Shirley, we appreciate y'all participation on tonight. See me after service. See me after service. Lord have mercy. Y'all, I appreciate y'all coming out tonight. As you go on with your week, make sure you take some time to marinate. Everybody marination process looks different, but find where you need to start. Whatever makes you feel at peace, wherever you can hear God, that's your process to marination. Sometimes all it takes is to actually just sit down. And just sit down and listen. And before you come up, I'm going to pray because it's in my spirit. If we can all stand. God, we're sending up our praises to you because we want to be marinated in your presence. We want to have your characteristics, God. We want to get rid of these nasty things, our attitudes, the things that we carry in our hearts, God. All things that are negative and not of you, God. We're asking you to release those things from us, God. Let us to find the place to find our peace and to be still in you, God. I know that we have busy lives. We have jobs, church, family, wives, children. But God, help us to place them to a side so we can hear from you, God. God, before we stand up to do anything, let it be of you, God. God, wherever you want to direct us, to send us, wherever you put us, God, we're going to adhere to you. We will call fear out, God. Devil, you cannot have us because we are in our marinade. We will leave sweet aromas of God around, God. We want to be a glowing light for you, God. So, God, we say thank you. On this week, God, we're going to take this with us and let it marinate in our souls, in our hearts, and in our minds, God. God, I ask you to touch the people on tonight that's sitting with a heavy heart, sitting with heavy thoughts, just sitting with heaviness, God. Release their hearts on tonight, God, because, devil, you have no place here. We bind you from this room, God. We bind you from this room, devil, with the thoughts and mental depressions, from the anxiety to the pain from our heads to our toes, God. We bind it. So, God, we say thank you for all the healing that you are about to take place, all the peace that's about to be gained. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.